Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Getting on the last week's topic we're getting on. Now the hadiths are being mentioned concerning the same topic now. We have the Mustakim Songadhwala narrates, they heard from Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, in this condition, that we all know that he was true also, and we all brought Iman on him already, believing to be true also. In other words, the people at that time, when they brought Iman and all knew Nabi Karim Sallallahu to be true also, at that time Nabi Karim Sallallahu explained to us, when a person is about to be born, in other words, when the sperm of the father goes into the womb of the mother, it stays there for 40 days. And the Lutfa, they say, and once the sperm goes into the womb, and it meets up with the sperm of the mother, then it starts germinating, and that lasts for 40 days. After that, another 40 days again, you find it comes in form of a clot of blood, it comes, and then another 40 days, and then it starts take up the shape or form in the womb. And then after the third 40 days, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the angel down to put the ruh, the soul, into the body. And after that, when that is done, then the four things are written down of the child. One is how much sustenance he will get. The second is what will be his age. And the third, what type of actions will he do. And fourth, whether he'll be a good person or a bad person. So these four things are written down already when the ruh is put into the child in the womb of the mother already. These four things which the Farishta writes down is according to the command or the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Molana Sahab rahmatullah alayhi, he says, understand this manner, that in Lawh Mahfuz, before everyone was born also, everything was written down already there already, and kept saved there already. But now now when the file is open of the child now, when the child ruh is being put into the child, now his file is being opened up, in other words now. Then the Farishtas ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what must he write now? Allah ta'ala say, whatever is written in Lawh Mahfuz, put that down into his file now. To make us understand very more easier for us, the Muslim explained that, for example, as a mother who is expecting a baby, and now she goes to the hospital for checkups, and now the mother's file is being made, and everything being written on the mother's file. Once the child is born, what happens now? Now the mother's file won't work. Now the separate file for the separate file for the child will be now. So in the same manner here also, the file has been prepared already by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but now in formalities, a separate file has been made now for the child now. And once the child is being born, now this file carries on, whether he does good work, whether he does bad work, whether he obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he don't bring faith in Iman Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever, this thing carries on in this file till the time he passes away, and the same file is presented to him on the day of Qiyamah now. Then this is your file that was prepared at a time before your birth, and according to this, your decision will be made for you now. Now, in this four questions which Allah told the Farishtas to write down, from one question was whether he'll be a good person or he'll be a bad person. Nabi Karim Sallallahu says that it is oath in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no one worthy of worship besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person sometimes doing the work of Jannat people, doing good actions he's doing all the time. And when the people see him also, they think this person is a very pious person, very good actions he is doing. So much so that his life comes nearing to his end, which comes, and there isn't much time between him and his death. Otherwise, death is very close to him, and about to reach to Jannat. And that time, he makes such action that he loses his Iman already. So now this decision was made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether a good person or a bad person, it overpowers him that time there, and he is counted among the people of Jahannam already. So his death comes in the form of making guna and disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he's been destined to go to Jahannam now. The same way you'll find another person, he is doing all work of the actions of his concerning to take him towards Jahannam, and in the end, when the time comes to leave the world, the little time left behind, at that time now he makes tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and makes iman, and he does such a work of the people of Jannat, and he goes into Jannat, he goes. So in other words, taqdeer overpowered him now, that he went to Jannat. So what do we understand by this here? So a person should not be satisfied with the action the person is doing, but he must be always cognizant of the action of work, whatever he is doing. His attention must be towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time, and you're going to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. What can happen to me? What will be my end result? Mullah al-Qadi rahmatullahi alayhi also says that in the past we find many pious people in the past, their main aim and object and concern was that how will I leave the world? What will be my end result? So they were more worried of the iman than anything else. That's why it's important for us to make what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also, and try and mold our life in such a way that we do good actions, at the same time we fear also how will be our end. Will our end be successful or not successful? As we mentioned also, last week we mentioned that there was a pious person, and he was gone old, he was gone white already, but there was one lady in the neighborhood. She always taunted him and say, and tell him, is your beard better or the beard of my coat better? So the pious man never gave an answer. She kept on taunting at him. One day she said, if I die with iman, then my beard is better than the beard of your goat. And if I die without iman, then the beard of the goat is better than me. And when he passed away, when Janazah was taken to the Qabristan, going past that old lady's house, then a voice from unseen started saying that, Alhamdulillah, I passed away with iman, my beard is better than the beard of your goat also. So they were more worried of their own iman than anything else. That's why as a Muslim, you could understand iman is everything for us. That's why the Sahaba they fought, they went to the battle, they went under and they lost difficulties, hardships, just to safeguard his iman, because they knew the importance of iman. If we also know the importance of iman, then our lives also will change in a different direction. Our thinking will change completely, our interaction with people will change completely, because we are worried to look after our iman at all times. And when you become unconcerned about your iman, then that's where a person committing what as a guna, and he does things which doesn't befit him to do those type of things. So it's important to understand from here that we got to try to make sure we look after our iman in all aspects. We look after our iman. You find hadith, many places you find also that we have been commanded to how to conduct our lives. For example, you find the guna of ghibat, backbiting, and one of having evil thoughts with somebody, for example. But these things are involved unknowingly, because we don't know the result what it is. To fulfill the rights of people, and we unknowingly we violate people's rights, and we think it's a small little thing. But you don't understand that small little thing could pay heavily in the year after for you could pay. So a person has got concern with his iman, to look after his iman, make sure he practices all the small aspects of the deen, try and put into proper perspective, and practice upon it, that he secures iman with those things there. Then on the day of Qiyamah, he has no regrets at what he did. Yeah, we go into discussions sometime, we're going to quarrels, you go, disputes we go into, and we don't know how our iman gets washed away, how iman becomes weak because of that. We speak such words with among one another, we don't know that our iman is going weak already. So it's to go into discussions, going to quarrels, you're not going to solve any of our problems. For example, nowadays you'll find, wherever you go, five people come together to discuss now, the virus is this now, this happening yet, this person is saying that, this alim is saying that, this one is saying that, everything. And they'll spend about hours debating and fighting on discussing on those things there. And after when they go home, the life is the same again after that. There's no change in the life at all. So what is the benefit of all that now? Talking bad of somebody, being ribat of somebody, we don't realize our iman is getting weak and it's going to harm us on the day of Qiyamah. Instead of avoiding all those things there and looking after our iman is more important than doing something. At the same time, you can understand also we sit in a group discussing everything, that this must happen and that must happen, the government must do this, the government must do that, everything. Is that going to change anything in the world? Nothing, no one will change anything. We're not the parliament, you won't make any decisions here. Whatever decisions will be in the parliament, we're not putting our voice in the parliament there, and hoping for changes to take place in our discussions. What's the benefit? All those things are useless for us to discuss. I think where there is no benefit, there is no end result to it. So avoid all that type of discussion where there is no end result to it. Stay away from all that type of discussions. Must stay away. Do what you are supposed to do, what you are commanded to do those things you are commanded to do. Then you are safe. You look after your iman, and you can got value of your iman. In another hadith, Rasulullah narrates from the Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, says that, and the Jahannam will be brought on the day of Qiyamah, in the place, the plane of recognition will be brought there. In such a manner it will be brought there. There will be 70,000 reins to it, and each reins will have 70,000 farishtas pulling and bringing it. Imagine now what a great type of arrangement Allah has made for Jannah to be brought there, to show us how severe Jahannam is and how strong, and what's the weight of Jahannam. There are so many farishtas are going to be deployed to bring Jannah, to show that Jahannam, this is Jahannam. So what does it mean? It means that when Allah has made so much of arrangements to make us understand how heavy, how severe Jahannam is, then that will bring fear within ourselves, to fear Jahannam and stay away from disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That if you're going to go inside the Jahannam, then there's no way you're going to come out from there. Another hadith, Hazrat Nawar ibn Bashir Rahmat radiallahu ta'ala narrates, they heard from the Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that Jahannam you will Jahannam you will give an azab, punishment. It's a very light punishment. What will the light punishment was is that burning coal will put under his feet, and with the result of that, coal put under his feet, his brains will start boiling out. Like how put a pot of water on the stove and it boils, like that his brains will boil out like that, and he will think that this is the greatest punishment I'm getting, whereas this is the lightest punishment he's going to get in Jahannam. So imagine now, we have, and Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that burning coal will put under his feet. The word used here means that you find an arc in the foot, but doesn't touch the ground. In there, such a small part, not the whole feet also, just a small little part there, and that fire will so hot that the brain will start boiling out. Imagine. So how, and this person will think that this is the lowest. I'm getting the highest punishment I'm getting, and really this is the lowest punishment a person couldn't get. So we see from there. Some of the people that come about and they say that we see that how little made our body is, all the veins leads up to the feet. When the veins lead up to the feet now, when the fire coal will put there, the veins will get activated and it will come out of the brain and boil up. The brain will boil out. So imagine how the connection of the brains with the feet also, with the hands also, is going to connect all the veins. So we got to look after our hands, how we use our hands also. We look after how we utilize our feet also. Then we have Jahannam, we don't end up into this type of punishment. So some people will find, we tell them this Jahannam punishment will be of this type, punishment will happen. We do such a work to get punishment, this man will get punishment. But they become very bold. And whatever and make statements like what? Then they make statements that we'll see Jahannam whatever. Now I'll go to Jahannam, I'll say whatever it is. And just statements like this are very, very severe. A very dangerous statement like that. And some person knowledgeable, some will say that, never mind, I'll go to Jahannam, there's nothing wrong with it. And some people say, no, you do the work with me. Whenever punishment will come, I'll sit to the punishment. I'll attend to the punishment, no problem. I'll take the punishment on my shoulders. So these type of people speak like this is very, very dangerous, this thing. But we cannot bear the punishment of the hereafter, which sometimes we can't even think how the punishment will be in the hereafter. Some people say what they say. They say, no mind, why are you doing this? And the person do this, try to advise him to do something good and to repent. Say, why you worry? I'll sleep my grave, you sleep no grave, don't worry. So this type of statements are very dangerous, and it shows the lack of iman and the focus of the akhirat, of Jannah and Jahannam is not in the person. That's why they make such type of statements, you see. There was one incident mentioned also in the Kitab that there was one very pious person of Bani Israel. He was still in the outskirts of the town, in the jungle he was. He was big ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was very known to the people of the town also. That this person is very pious. So whenever they want to go to him, ask for dua, dua should get accepted, whatever it is. One day in the town, there was one happy occasion, like a wedding there was. So now when they prepared the food or everything, then now they thought, let's send the food to the pious person. He did the food, they'll work it in our food. So he sent some boys to go and give the food to the pious man. When he went there, the pious man refused to take the food. He said, take the food back. So when he brought the food back, the people of the town who were there, the elders, got very worried, what's happening? They said, now there's no barakat in our whole function. So all the leaders of the town, all of them went now to the pious man. And they started pleading to eat the food here. We got a happy occasion, wedding, want to be part of the wedding, whatever it is. But he says, refused completely. He says, why are you refusing so much? He said, no, I made a very big guna I committed. Because of that now, I made promise to Allah, so I'll never eat until Allah Ta'ala don't forgive me and show me clear signs of my forgiveness, then all I will eat. In other words, in that shariat of that time, to make this type of oath to take, and Allah Ta'ala should forgive them. That was when things work out according to the oath they made, it was a sign that the Tawbah has been accepted, in other words. So they're asking about what guna did you make, such a big guna? You stay in the jungle, you make ibadat every day, what guna you going to make? There's no provision of being guna in there. How can you make guna? Say you don't understand, and you won't understand what I'm saying. But tell us what guna you made. Say I was sitting one day outside my small little house here, and hut what I was staying in, and I was looking at the mountain in front of me. Mountain was completely black. It was the stones black. It was. So a thought came to my mind. That I thought, thinking to myself, talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how does Allah shall make this mountain green? Should some trees on top, should some flowers on top, should it colorful should be, should have got a fountain or spring on top also, water should come down, how beautiful should it be, a mountain should be like that. Just then Allah ta'ala cautioned me, and told me, till today you are my servant, you are worshipping me, and today you will become my advisor from today now. Once I heard this, I got very worried. So I had a big mistake. I was not supposed to have got fault in little creation at all. So at that time I made dua to Allah, just took the oath to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tell you don't forgive me, I can get the signs of my forgiveness may accept it, I won't eat any food. So the people of the town who were there, they said, why you worry so much? Whenever the punishment, eat the food, whenever punishment comes, we have so many people, we distribute the punishment amongst us, don't worry about that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent out this message to him that these people think my punishment will be very, very light. So do not prefer to stay here, go away from here now. So this pious man, he went away from there at night. And next morning, the whole town was put upside down. Punishment came onto them to show that they said they will bear the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How will you bear it? I can't bear the punishment in this world. How is it in the year after going to be? So it shows we don't make objections in Allah Ta'ala's doing it at all. And at the same time, go to worship and look after our iman. Say that iman is more valuable for a mu'min than anything else in the world. Can lose everything, but he won't lose our iman. You see from the Sahaba Karam's main their lives also. They lost everything, they lost their life and everything, but they never lose their iman. They make sure they pass away. With the iman, they pass away. Hazrat Thanvi Rahmatullahi, one poet, Jigar Murad Bari Rahmatullahi, he wrote a letter down to come stay in your company for a little while. So when I gave permission to come, I said, I got a problem. I got a very bad habit. A habit of drinking also. So when I said, no matter if one sinner meets another sinner, what's wrong in that? And the Khanka is public property, so I won't allow you to do that, commit that guna in Khanka. My home is my private property. You can go home and do whatever you do, but not in the Khanka. I got very happy now with that. I go there now, whatever it is, I took care of my habit. When he came there now, that Nurani Mahal of Thanvi Rahmatullahi, he saw 24 hours as Amal carrying on there, just carrying on there. He was busy involved in all things in such a manner he got involved in there. He forgot to drink the 3 days also. And after that, when he said in the Mahal, he realized his fault also, the severity of the guna, whatever it is. So he made the tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and hands of Thanvi Rahmatullahi then I'll never drink again after that. Now the doctor who was treating him, and he came to find out, told him that now you're not going to drink like this, you're going to get sick and you're going to die quickly. Take it gradually, you must phase it out, the drinking. Your body can get adapted to it. So he said, but what happened? He said, then you're going to die. He said, sorry, if I do it gradually, what's going to happen after that? So then you won't die so quickly, you say. But after that, I say, still you won't die after that. So why must I do it gradually? If I'm going to die in that process, I'll die with guna. What is going to my iman? If I leave it immediately now, if I get sick and I die because of that, I'll die with iman in my heart. I'll die. So they understood the value of iman, that no matter what it is, whatever it is, that rather we can undergo the difficulties of whatever problems there is, sicknesses, whatever it is, but we'll die with iman at least. We'll die. We're not going to do something wrong. We won't displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We'll die with iman at least. So we've got to have that value of iman within ourselves. Then a person will have the courage to undergo any types of difficulty in the world to secure his iman. Here another hadith, Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions is that the people of Jahannam will be put into Jahannam, and according to the degree of the guna what they made in the world, the fire will start catching them. So in other words, whatever type of guna, according to that intensity, the fire will get hold of them. And some of them such, the fire will just get them by the ankles. And some are such, the fire will get them right from the ankles right up to the knees. And some are such that the fire will come even further, up to the waist. Okay. Or some up to the collar also. Then other the fire will able to sense whatever punishment this person made, according to the fire will catch that person. Like we know in this world also, we find now so much technology has gone so much advanced that sometimes the scanner, whatever it is, only sends those things which are just programmed in a sensor. The same manner the fire of Jahannam also will program in such a way to only get hold of those people who commit guna. Another hadith, Abdullah ibn Umar from Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On the day of Qiyamah, everybody will be present in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then the sun will be very close to us, close to our heads. But the result, the person will be drowned in his perspiration. So much so that some people will perspire, and the perspiration will come up to their ears. It will drown in the perspiration so much. So this will be the condition on the day of Qiyamah, Maidan Hashar it will be. What happened in Jahannam after that? Just imagine. Before this happened, what will happen in Jahannam? So we can just understand from here. And another says, Anas narrates from Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Nabi Karim sallallahu was giving one khutbah at that time, and such a khutbah, which normally doesn't give that type of khutbah, but this time he was giving such a khutbah he was giving, which was completely different than all other khutbahs, with the intensity and that feeling he gave the khutbah. He said, "O people, concerning the condition of the Akhirat, Jannah and Jahannam, which I know, nobody knows about that." Why is that? When Nabi Karim sallallahu went for Mi'raj, he saw Jannah also, he saw Jahannam also, he saw everything properly, he saw everything. So he knew what he saw. That's why he's saying, what I know of Jannah and Jahannam, people don't know what was Jannah and Jahannam. And if people got to come to know what the condition of Jahannam, then you will never laugh at all, and you will cry more. So if you come to know, then only will cry so much that Allah will save us from Jahannam, and you will forget to laugh also in other words. When Nabi Karim spoke these words, the Sahaba when they had heard these words, they had such a had such effect on them that all were drowned in sorrow, and it started covering their face. For the result, and people could hear them crying. Now what's happened? And Nabi Karim told them that, but they knew very well Nabi Karim never spoke a lie, and always spoke the truth always. And they knew that what Nabi was saying is completely true at this moment, what he's saying. So in other words, Nabi knows so much, he haven't told us everything. Only some things told us, but that we can bear. From there we can understand the intensity of Jahannam and the punishment of Jahannam. We can understand from there. Imagine how the Sahaba were so receptive of the words of Nabi Karim sallallahu immediately they left out guna completely. So we also try and make what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah give us that tawfiq to We also listen to the same hadith we are listening also. But it doesn't have effect on us because we haven't looked at our iman. We haven't trained our iman to the level to accept this thing. So we must try and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will give us that tawfiq also to understand that the hadith of the Nabi Karim can have an effect on our lives and change our lives also at the same time. In another hadith also, that Miqdad radiallahu ta'ala narrates from Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the sun will be very, very close to us, so much so it will be 1 mile away from us. The person who narrated this hadith from Hazrat Miqdad radiallahu ta'ala was a tabi, Hazrat Sulaim ibn Amir radiallahu rahmatullah alayh. So he said that I couldn't ask him what is the measurement of 1 mile. I can't tell what is 1 mile. And normally you find measurements in the world, 1 mile equals to 8 furlongs. Is 1 mile, say. Or say mile means the take that stick and put surma in your eyes. That also is called a mile. So the Sulaim Tabi says that, and when I heard this hadith, I couldn't ask them, or I forgot to ask them, or I couldn't explain what does the mile means. It means that the mile of 8 furlongs, or the mile of that stick of the surma in your eyes. And according to the astronomers and scientists, they've got one thing they call light miles. They call the light miles is 93,300,000 miles. 1 light mile, so much, according to them. So it means, imagine the sun now is so high above us, and we can't bear the heat in the summer sometimes. And go to areas like Arabia and the rest areas, the heat is much more stronger than that. We can't bear that heat. The sun comes so low, what will happen to us? Now, Hazrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says that the sun will come so close to us that the person, according to his action, whatever we have done, he will start perspiring and get drowned in this perspiration of his. Some people's perspiration will be up to the ankles, and some up to the knees, and some above the waist also. And some people will be given lagam, what do you call lagam? On the horse, when you put in the mouth, that the rain. So till there, the perspective of some people will tell there this perspective. Depends on how and Nabi Karim took his hand and brought to near his mouth with his hand. He brought to show them till there the perspiration will be till there. Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the people on the day of Qiyamah will be drowned into the perspiration, and the perspiration will flow onto the ground also. It will go 70 hands down. It will go in the ground also. Now imagine here now how much perspiration will come from a person's body. It will go 70 hands down into the ground, and then perspiration will come up and onto the ankles and the knees. Will come down. Because for example, you can see where there is a river flowing, for example, and when the river gets dry, you see the wetness of the river, how deep it is also. So once the earth gets dry from there till top, then all water will start flowing. Otherwise, the ground starts soaking all that water. Imagine when the person will, how much will perspire, that further the ground will soak all that, and then the perspiration will start coming up to your ankles and your knees. Another hadith, Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and Hazrat Abu Hurairah says that one day we were sitting with Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we heard a sound. We heard a sound. Then we never knew what was. Nabi Sallallahu asked, "What was the sound? What is the sound all about?" The Sahaba replied, "Whatever Allah and Nabi knows those best words. We don't know what the sound is." Then Nabi Karim sallallahu replied and told them that this was a stone that was thrown 72 years before. It was thrown into Jahannam, and today it reached the bottom. That's the sound of it. You know how deep Jahannam is now after. So these things, when you listen to this condition of Jannat and Jahannam in this manner here, then brothers will come to understand how fearful Jahannam is, how must we stay away from Jahannam, and how must we obey the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas for 72 years before the stone was thrown down, and up to so many years now only the stone reached the bottom of Jahannam only. And that sound the Sahaba heard was by Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also. As Ibn Hatim narrates from the Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, on the day of Qiyamah, everybody will talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like how we talk to one another. There will be no translator in between. We talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah ta'ala will just ask a person directly, and the person will be thinking, now how must I save myself from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now? Then you'll see on the right side, there will be actions of deeds on the right side also. So on the left side, you'll see the action of deeds on the left side also, the bad deeds. You'll see in front of him, it says Jahannam will be in front of him now. There's no way out from the to run away from this. He'll have to answer this question by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Nabi Sallallahu said that try and save yourself from the punishment of Jahannam. Even if it can be by giving one date only to somebody, or a portion of a date to somebody as sadaqah also. Save yourself from fire of Jahannam. In other words, in Jahannam, in the year after, there's no way out. You can escape from your account by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to save yourself from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give sadaqah in other words. And sadaqah also, when people say even it can be one date also, it doesn't matter. That also will save you from the fire of Jahannam. How much sincerely do you give that sadaqah, according to that will be, it will save from the fire of Jahannam, from punishment of the year after, will save from there. So yeah, after explaining all the hadiths, you can understand how important it is for us to understand how to make means and ways how to save ourselves from the fire of Jahannam. By being obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and one of the things that do, give sadaqah in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That also will bring down the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to save you from fire of Jahannam also at the same time. Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, I'm seeing those things which you never see. That I'm seeing the sky squeaking. For example, when you got a chair, wooden chair you got, and somebody, a heavy person sits, how do you make a squeaking sound? The sky is also squeaking like that. And why is the sky squeaking? Because on the sky there are so many of farishtas, angels. There isn't even a 4-finger space so much also. There is no the farishta and the space on the sky, and all of them are making sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is so much of weight. Because of this weight, the sky is already squeaking already. Then Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi saying that, and how much I know of Jahannam, of the year after, punishment of the year after. If you come to know of those punishment of the year after, how severe it is, then you will laugh less and will cry more. But because you don't know of this of the condition, if you know the condition of Jahannam and the punishment of Jahannam, then you won't sleep on your soft beds at all. And you won't spend time with the wives also. The worry will be so much on you, the fear will come so much in you, you'll forget everything in this world. You'll forget. And because of the fear, what will happen to you? You run out into the jungles. You go away. You won't remain in it. Run going into the jungles. You will go away. So because once a person got fear, that person can't do anything. He won't know what to do. He want to run away. So when you get feared, that fear of Jahannam will come in a person's heart. What will that person will just like running away, going into the jungle. And because this fear is not in you, this also is a rahmat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stay in your homes. So to be unaware at times also, this also in other words is a ni'mat in disguise for us also. That because otherwise nobody should live in the homes. You shouldn't stay with your wife. Nobody should run away. You don't know what to do. But because Allah put a ghaflat into you, because of that you are staying in the homes and you can make ibadat, turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This also is a ni'mat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In another hadith here, Mirza Aslami from Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that, on the Qiyamah, a person's feet will not go further, rather he won't go further where he's standing till you don't answer some questions. Only if you answer those questions, then only you can go further from the spot. And what are those questions? Imagine Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was so kind to his ummah. For example, a person is in school, he could write an exam, and when write the exam, then whatever normally the children ask the teacher that we must study, what must do, then the teacher gives him some points to study, whatever, and the child could listen, give heed to that the hints of the teacher, and he studies those points, those sections properly. And when the exam comes, those things come in the exam now, he writes the exam very quickly, and he's got hope that I'm going to pass the exam now. When he passes the exam, whatever now, the teacher is happy with him also. The parents happy with him also. The school is happy with, everyone's happy with him now because he's passed the exam with good colors now. And contrary to that, the teacher gave him all the hints and still he said, no man, I'll study afterwards. More worried is playing and this and everything. The exam comes now, you don't know what's happening in the exams. Now you go to fail the exam, whatever now, teacher also be upset with it. I gave you all the hints, everything. And still you never pass your exams. The parents at home, they'll be also upset with him. Relatives, friends, all you said you wasted your time, whole the year you wasted to repeat the year again now. So everybody is upset with him. But yeah, Nabi Karim was so kind, he said, you all got to go to Jannat, and he gave us the hint also, and to us what question will be asked also, and gave us the answer for the question also. How kind Nabi Karim is towards us, and he told us that these are questions will be asked to you, prepare for these questions in this world. When you go there, you'll have no regret. Imagine if you don't prepare in this world for this question, and then when they will take accounts for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how are we going to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How are we going to face Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? He gave us all these questions and answers, and yet we never prepare. How are we going to face Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on that day? Think of that. Then that ihsas will come into us, how we must conduct our lives in the world, and prepare for these questions in this world. We've got time in this world. Once the eyes close, we've got no time to prepare after that. So just to bring about the awareness within ourselves, Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us before that this will happen in Jahannam. For example, someone will go somewhere on delegation, somebody go, but they don't know what's going to happen. Whatever they brief now from before, when go there, protocols are this way there, or the airport, this will happen. When person goes, mind is prepared already, when go there now, this is going to happen on the airport, what will happen to me like this. If you're going somewhere for traveling, going somewhere for holidays, for example, people tell you this will happen, the mind is prepared already, this is going to happen, and that's how it happens when you go there. Same way Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam also told us that on the day of Qiyamah, this is going to happen to you on the day of Qiyamah now. So you won't be able to move from the place until when you answer these questions. So yeah, the question that Allah Ta'ala will ask is, the first question will be, Allah Ta'ala will ask him that where do you spend your life? How do you spend your life? How do you conduct your life? And Allah will ask you. So you could understand how and where you spend your life, that you could answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this world, if you spend your life according obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the way of shown to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they'll be able to answer. I read my namaz, I read my Quran, I look after my relatives, I did this, I did that, whatever it is. I forgive people also. Whatever you did in your life, explain Allah subhanahu. So you got no problem because you got to answer right how your life was. But if you didn't conduct your life according to that, what answer are you going to give them? So one question is this: how do you spend your life on earth? And the second question is about concerning your wealth. How do you earn your wealth? And the third question is, where do you spend your wealth? It's not only earning, but also spending also at the same time. You spend and you earn your wealth in a halal manner, then you are very fortunate. But at the same time, you earn your wealth in a halal manner and spend it in haram ways, then also you're in a problem now. And if you earn the wealth in a haram manner, then also you're in a problem. So be very careful how you earn your wealth. How you earn your wealth, this will find. Our Akabin will find that so much of taqwa within themselves, they never want to use a little bit of haram at all. Forget the haram, they don't stay away from doubtful things, also stay away also. And some people stay away from that, so jais will stay from that, so allowed us to stay away from those things, will stay away. Why? We had the figure in the mind, that the concern in the mind, that whatever I'm going to use in the world, I've got to give an account for it. Although it's halal, I won't use it. I won't have to give an account for it on the day of Qiyamah. So there was people of that type also in the world, that when they heard this hadith here, they look after him in such a manner that they will give account for everything in the world in the year after. So the wealth we earn also, we got to give account for it also. So they were very cautious how they acquire that wealth and how they spend that wealth also at the same time. Then Allah will ask you about your body also. How did you utilize your body? What did you do? How you made the body old? What you did when the body came old? What did you do? Now with the body, you got the eyes also, you got the tongue also, you got the ears also, you got the hands also, you got the feet also, you got the private part also, everything. How do you utilize the part of the body? You could answer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that also. Now imagine now, at that time now, when the whole creation of the time of Adam al-Islam, till the time of Qiyamah, all are present there now. There your parents are present, your asars are present there, and the Karim Sallallahu himself is present there also. Now good answer all this question now, imagine. How you going to answer this question at the time now? So you could keep in mind that, you could keep in mind how we utilize our eyes, our tongues, our ears, our hands, feet, private parts. We could keep all that in mind, that there we got to give an answer for all these things. And on the Qiyamah, it's not like how this world, you give a bribe here and work get done and go away. There is no bribery and corruption there by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever you did, that will come, and according to that, the decision will be made. You can't give any bribe there by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah ta'ala has kept angels ready to write whatever you do, they write down everything. Everything is written down. One small thing you do is written down by the angels. And on the Qiyamah, when you will see our books of deeds, the Lord will say, مَا هَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرًا وَلَا كَبِيرَةً إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا. You can tell them what happened to this book of mine. Every small thing is written inside. They never leave out anything inside. Whatever book is this now? And you understand that now, there's no way for me to escape now. Because everything is written inside, and I can't refuse what was written inside. Because the Farishtas were very genuine, they were honest, they were not deceiving, they were everything properly down. And whatever a person speaks, everything has been monitored by the Farishtas. And every word you spoke also, must be very cautious what you speak. Think before you speak. And then those things will also be recorded in the books, and will have to answer for that on the day of Qiyamah also. And when a person has this within his mind, then whatever he does in the world, every step he takes in the world, he'll think before he do something. He won't do things without thinking, because he knows that he'll have a reaction afterwards, and will take into accountability afterwards. So whatever he does, he'll think properly before he does something. Then find the Quran, that those people who fear Allah, to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they curb their desires because of that, then what is their result is Jannat after that. So you've got the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you could be present in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you could account for all your deeds in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Qiyamah. This thought alone will bring about a change in you to stay away from guna and keep back your desires. Then that the return for that is what Jannah Allah will give you. It shows how important it is that we look after our desires. There was one incident mentioned in the Kitabs, that there was one king, and one day at night he came early home to sleep. When he came in his room, the slave girl was also busy cleaning the room, whatever it is. So when he saw the slave girl, he felt very attracted towards her. So he closed the door. Now the slave girl was thinking, why is closing the door and what's happening now? So then he came to realize his intention is being changed now, it looked like. So when that happened, then she told that, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Till today, nobody has broken my seal, and please fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The minute she said that, had the effect on him and started shivering. And he made her go out of the room, and the next day he gave her freedom also. So what happened actually was, one day the king loved his wife, the queen, quite a bit. While we were talking at night, one day they were sitting and they were talking, and they were discussing something. So in that discussion they went to an argument, and then the husband said something. So the wife replied to that they were seeing the moon at night, and she said that now that you are more beautiful than the moon also. So it said, how can you say you are more beautiful than the moon? The moon is beautiful more than everybody. The moon is beautiful. When they took a qasam on that, whatever it is, and then after that took place, then she said, I won't talk to you now. Took a qasam, I won't talk to you, whatever it is. The wife says something. Tell, don't prove it out that I'm more beautiful than the moon. Okay. So when that happened, now they asked all the ulama, now what answer this was, The ulama said, no, that now the separation was because they took a qasam on that. And we know that now, how can you say that she's more beautiful than the moon? Not possible, all this. So then they went, Imam Sahab rahmatullah alayhi, they couldn't get answer anyway, they went to him. Then he said, that it comes in the Quran, لَقَدْ خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Allah Ta'ala created human being more better and more beautiful than all creation. So that shows that she is more beautiful than the moon also. So the talaq was not done, separation wasn't done. And at the same time, then something else happened, transpired afterward also. Then in that case, they said that, and they asked him that now, Imam Sahab rahmatullah alayhi, asked him that the wife said he's a Jahannami. And he said, I'm not a Jahannami. When that transferred among themselves, then the king told the wife that if I'm a Jahannami, then you are divorced. Okay. So now there's a big masla getting on. How much solve this problem now? So then they went, all of us said, no, that you don't know a Jahannami, what you know. So the divorce will take place now. They went to Imam Sahab rahmatullah, now what's happening, what does he do now? Imam says, no, go, like husband and wife, don't worry now. So I asked him a question, asked him that did you, in your life, did you ever experience the thing that you stayed away from some guna because of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So think carefully first. So he thought carefully. He said, yes, there's one incident that this incident took place in a room there with that slave girl. Just because of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I send out and now commit a guna. So I must say, now go live like husband and wife, nothing wrong. So why? Because you save yourself because of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you save yourself from guna, so you are Jannat, you are not Jahannam. So it shows how important it is we learn to understand our deen properly. We'll know how to conduct ourselves properly. We'll know how to speak properly. We'll know how to save ourselves from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Save ourselves from the punishment of Jahannam, how to save ourselves. We'll learn all these things when we educate ourselves Islamically. It is important that we take out some time daily to learn some and read some Islamic literature where we can understand how to conduct our lives. We'll know how to answer our questions on the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Nabi Kareem was so kind to us, he gave us all the questions also and answers also to questions he gave us also. Now, if we don't learn the answer of the questions, then we'll be more foolish than us. So it's important that we take out some time daily to understand and learn our deen, that we can benefit ourselves in this world also, and this benefit will help us in the year after also, inshallah. When we are obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world, definitely that obedience will help us in the year after also, it will help us, inshallah. Allah give us tawfiq for understanding, practicing, inshallah.